welcome our buddies into this very crowded anchorage. Hopefully they'll find a good spot.
In our last episode, we joined forces with Marie and Pierre from SV Viva to explore Laredo. In today's episode, we find ourselves in Balandra on the north end of Isla Carmen. And then we run into our biggest breakdown yet.
Welcome to GNT Sailing. If you're new here, I'm Gretchen and this is Tim. We've spent the last 2 years refitting Felicita, our Catalina 42, and have finally launched our sailing dream. We don't care where we go, we just care that we go, and we're glad you're coming along for the ride. The cruising life is a blend of sailing, boat work, getting from point A to point B, and exploring new places. And it also requires all of the things that life anywhere calls for.
This is a typical evening when it's just the two of us. I make dinner, and thanks to Starlink, we watch recordings of all the late night hosts doing their monologues from the night before.
135, that's comms.
And even though we're floating around in paradise, the bills still need to be paid. We have a monthly finance meeting where we go through all the bills and make sure that everything's squared away for the next 30 days.
$520. It looks like groceries.
Walmart.
Oh, this is for time, maybe?
Yeah.
Could it be?
A little bit of a sundial.
Yeah, we know north is this way.
So that's 12 o'clock.
That's 12, and then the shadow of the stick, points to the time, which is 10 o'clock. Pretty interesting.
In search of another trail. A little out of shape from sitting on the boat. Intermediate summit. Trickery. So the boys went back, but the girls kept going.
I add to it for good karma because I appreciate people when you started them. And,
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
I can add my...
This is how I like my snakes. So we're just gonna walk to the boat. Low tide is in 3 hours. So when we get ready to go, we have some standard things we do. We check the oil and make sure that that's all looking good, make sure that we don't see any leaks. We turn on the instruments, we put in a waypoint for our next place we're going. We make sure that we're on the same page about what our passage plan is going to be. And our water tanks are empty, so we need to make some water on this excursion. We have about 25 nautical miles to go today from Balandra here on Isla Carmen back over to the Baja Peninsula where we're gonna go to San Juanico. And rumor has it there are blue-footed boobies, so we are really hoping that we get to see some of those. We're still buddy boating with our friends from Viva. They are going to maybe make a stop and explore, but we're going to push on and get settled up in San Juanico for a few days. So that's the plan today. Did you check the water?
Yeah. Everything's good. Ready?
So while Tim works on slowly getting the anchor up, I always get the waypoint for our next location. And then just some standing by to assist him in any way he needs it. So we have this great cruising guide, Sea of Cortez, and it has really awesome waypoints. So what I'm watching is there's this real shallow spot over to our left. I want to make sure we stay away from. We're 22 feet. Just signal reverse. I am. What? That's this. You just went like this. I have no idea what that means. Are we off the ground? Apparently this means we're off the ground.
Something wrong with the windlass. I can't get it up.
How far is the anchor?
It's hanging just off the bow.
Did you check the breaker? It's always something on boats. Okay, so something's wrong with the windlass. We don't know what. We pulled the anchor up manually. I'm gonna go look at the breaker. The breaker is not tripped. But we knew it was gonna be motoring.
No, I thought this was the day with the south winds, 8 to 14.
They didn't show up.
It's out of the east
No, it didn't show
at
up.
6. So we're sitting in an anchorage for 2 weeks because there's too much wind to sail. Ever since then, we have pretty much motored. We sailed going to Bonanza, but it was on the nose and we could not get there.
And we motor
Same
sailed.
thing there, coming from Escondido to Balandra. Great wind, but right on the nose, so you could not get there in less than 46 hours, tacking 9 million times. So, Yanni rules the day.
Get to know your motor. So we've taken a breath. We're collecting data. We've got some ideas of things to troubleshoot on the windlass. We're very confident we're going to be able to get the anchor down and get settled in our next spot, and then we'll do some troubleshooting on the windlass. But it's frustrating. If you think about, I mean, we haven't had a ton of stuff we've had to fix.
However Ano put it is exactly true. There's this low-level anxiety hanging over your head 24/7. Even if you're not a worrier. I pride myself on not worrying. I hate worrying. But it's always there, hanging out there. Something's gonna break that you're not gonna understand immediately how to fix it, and you're gonna have to figure it out. And you just got, it's a constant cycle of things breaking. And I think the low level anxiety is, what if something major breaks and then it's bad? Because everything that's broken we've been able to figure out and fix. And everybody's very helpful and blah, 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 blah. I just don't know how else to describe the feeling of this, not even a dark cloud. It's like the cloud over Pigpen in Charlie Brown. Just It's hanging there all the time. What's gonna break next?
Well, and I think that there's a certain amount of pressure that you feel because it's on you to figure it out.
That's a lot of it.
So it feels very vulnerable.
I don't know,
No, the vulnerable. Don't use that word.
it's kind of therapy-ish.
Well, but you're having feelings.
Which is probably what is the most uncomfortable thing. I don't like feelings. Other than happy feelings.
And being mad.
Yeah. I don't like those feelings, but I know them. Very aware of them. Yeah.
But being mad is easier than feeling vulnerable.
Yeah, I guess. The good thing about the windlass is we can live without it. It could be a nuisance, but we can live without it. And then it's the hassle factor of fixing it, because you got to take the entire V-berth apart. To get to the damn thing, I got to take all those groceries that we have out, take that cover off, contort myself in my fat ass through that small hole, and get in there and look up like this, and just nothing is easy. You have to grease me up and shove me in there. But on the bright side, I had one of the best breakfasts I've had in a very long time this morning. That was a very enjoyable meal.
What'd you have?
Avocado toast, which we love. You know, the avocados are amazing, and had everything seasoning on them. But I made a sunny side up egg on top of it. I cooked the egg to perfection, and it just was so awesome. We do eat well. There's no doubt about that. The eating in this life can be good.
Thanks, John Crutchmer, for setting the bar high.
Because if it was up to me, it'd be ranch-style beans and rice one day. Lunch every day would be Trader Joe's smoked trout and saltines. Dinner would be canned beans and rice, corned beef hash, and 50 more beef stew.
Although I do like the smoked trout on saltines and sardines on saltines. That's a fine meal. I just wouldn't want it every day. Trader Joe's smoked trout, saltines. Yum. We're pulling into San Juanico, and there are the options to anchor at the south end of the bay or the north end of the bay. So tonight the wind is forecasted to be coming out of the south, not heavy, but coming out of the south. So we're thinking we want to opt to anchor tonight in the south end, and then hopefully we'll get the windlass fixed. And if we then want to move to the north end, because it looks like there's some cool stuff on the north end, it'll be easy enough for us to move tomorrow or the next day to go check that out. Those pinnacle rocks mark the south end of Caleta San Juanico. And now we're getting our game plan together for this tricky anchoring situation. Thinking kind of going to that side of Brant in like 25, I mean, not 22. So the edge of the shelf is like, there it says 33, 34. Then there's a nice long area.
You ready to mic up?
Yeah. Tim gets everything sorted out, ready to anchor. Yep, watching. Yeah, there's a reef there. Yeah, well, sort of, and then I'm gonna tuck in beside him. There's gonna be plenty of room to be to his starboard side, but see, he's pointed obviously up into the wind, so I'm gonna come around, do a long U to come around and come up into the wind, and then we'll just watch the depths. What are you doing?
I just pushed the button to see if it would go, and it took off.
Can you just not touch it though until we're up in there? Or tell me if you want to do something out here where we've got lots of room to drift. I'll just slow down. How would you characterize the issue?
Well, yeah, the gypsy is not strong enough to pull the anchor up, but it's acting very erratically when I let it down. it just takes off and doesn't hold on to anything. So it's like, it seems like a clutch thing, but I can't tighten the clutch anymore.
So we got 60 feet of chain in, no problem.
Right.
And that was good because the anchor grabbed, so we weren't floating all around.
But it was sitting on the Gypsy, and then when it started to tug, it took off, and I couldn't grab it. I was afraid of cutting my hand off or something.
Yeah.
But enough of that. Back to the fun.
How much do you think you have out now?
Just a little over 60.
Okay, well,
Behind us. So I'm going to go and see how it takes off. And then I think I got the pawl. I just shoved it in. But anyway, it grabbed, but then, man, did it tug at that windlass, which is not good. Whoa.
okay, it's hot. It's right back here. How much do you think
And then we just did a series of frickin' rolling hitches and
letting a little
lowered
out.
enough chain in the water, then got the snubber set, and man, just several.
But the snubber, when we originally set it, usually we have the snubber going on the left bow roller and the
empty
chain,
bow roller.
and then the chain is in the actual anchor bow roller. But they were both going through that one because we were just using that line to control the chain.
So yes, we need to get it over so it wouldn't chafe. And
but it was holding all
and
the
of
load.
course, we motor all day long with 3 knots of wind. As soon as we get to the anchorage, it's 15 knots. Up to there where I can put the snubber on and just let it out.
Okay, well, let's think about it. We're holding, so we don't need to. It seems like we could do it in little bites where we just, I'm not saying set the snubber, I'm just saying a rolling hitch back here, let it out just enough, put the blue line back on, move the rolling hitch back, you know, and you just do it in little bites like that.
Problem is, we gotta get that off so we can take that home.
If we
Well, no, I can get the chain off. So,
oh no, you're right. Yeah.
this is the...
Watch your hand, don't let it smash. Okay.
Alright, now you're letting it out. You have full control of it.
So how far?
So I can get to the...
It's getting heavy. It's getting heavy. Here. Can you get it to that cleat? I'm holding. There's slack. Come on. Every time. Here.
We have enough in.
So we could take another rolling hitch line and take it back to a cleat back there so that you could sort out the snubber, and we could let some more in. Ready? Hold on.
It's gonna go.
Hold on! Don't do anything!
What are you doing?
You said it's gonna go, so I'd like to have it around something so I don't get pulled forward.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, now slowly let it go. Slowly. It's off of the windlass.
Do you need to untie? Do you need to
I can't untie. It's gonna take. You're gonna need to slowly let it out.
letting it out? Now what? Keep going?
Yeah.
When are you gonna untie the blue line?
I'll tell you when to stop.
Tim, don't be mad at me for wanting to have clarification. I don't have a lot of.
Other foot, and then clean
I
it
don't.
off.
This is how much
Clean
line
it
I
off.
have. Hold on. were methodical. We thought. We only yelled at each other a few times. Neither one of us got injured. We didn't break the boat any more than it's broken.
Thank God for not knowledge, though. I have to pat myself on the back.
Yeah, you did.
I
Rolling
had to tie a
hitch.
lot of knots.
Rolling hitch, sheet bend.
That's it.
2 knots.
And a cleat hitch.
And a cleat hitch. But we had to really think about, like,
Well,
when we let
at
go
one
of
point,
this.
At one point, we had 3 lines controlling the chain, the snub, and the snubber. At one time, there were 3 different lines controlling things, trying to ease things, and then I don't know what's going on with that thing. I don't know enough about windlasses. It acts exactly like the clutch is too loose, but I can't tighten the clutch anymore. So it's got to be, I mean, I'm going to check electrical because there might be not enough electricity, current because of the terminals or whatever. I'm going to check that first. But then I'm going to have to start tearing it apart and figure out what, if anything, mechanical is wrong.
So the good news is we have one friend here and we have another friend coming. There's other people who might have ideas and be willing to help. We have Starlink. We can call Mike,
Yeah.
our phone a friend / boat mechanic. We have the right amount of chain out. Our snubber is set exactly how it always is. It's a rolling hitch versus the boat
The hook,
the
which-
hook, but who cares? That's fine.
That's better, actually.
So yeah, that was
It was annoying. This whole thing's annoying. I'm really dejected with boat problems, boat work. But I'll figure it out and then we'll go from there. I hope. We have resources.
we do.
All right, can you shut that damn thing We'll off? see you here next time as we troubleshoot the pesky windlass.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you catch all the episodes of our first season cruising in Mexico. And head over to Instagram for real-time updates. Check out our tracker and more details about our cruising life at gntsailing.com. We'll catch you next time.
Mexico is Sexico!